Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got a copy of the LEGO Ninjago Legacy magazine. If you guys are following the channel, you'll know I cover the Ninjago magazine pretty much every single month. Sometimes I'm a bit late, but I have covered every magazine I think since like 2020. But what you may not know is there's actually two different types of Ninjago magazines. There's the main magazine, which I cover all the time, but then there's also the Ninjago Legacy magazine. The Legacy magazine's quite funny to me because it's been going on for like 7 years now. I think it started back in 2019 when Ninjago Legacy was first a thing. But what's weird about it is when Ninjago Legacy first ended back in 2021, the magazine still continued. So even though there's been no like legacy figures or anything, they've still been making these magazines and calling it Ninjago Legacy, even though there was nothing to tie in with it. So for a while they did core figures, and then now they've just been doing Dragons Rising figures. But now that Legacy's back in 2026, hopefully they're going to be switching to actually doing Legacy minifigures again. Anyway, I've covered this a few times on the channel, but I don't cover every single issue. However, this is one that I was actually interested in picking up because I like the minifigures that it came with. It comes with Rogue, the Dragons Rising Season 3 version of Jay, as well as Zarkt, one of the members of the Forbidden Five, and I wanted to get extras of those minifigures, and this is also one of the magazines that comes with a bonus minifigure, but this is the way the Legacy magazine differs from the regular Ninjago magazine. Legacy magazines always come with 2 minifigures instead of just 1, so when there's a bonus minifigure, it's actually 2 bonus minifigures, so I also get this one here that's from a previous magazine that has Zane versus the Bone King. So yeah, 4 minifigures for what, £9? That's honestly a pretty good deal, especially with like the rarer minifigures that you get here. And the packaging is awesome. Instead of just being in paper bags, they're in these metal tins. Let me remove those so you can take a look at them up a little bit closer. It's actually like 3-dimensional. The minifigures are popping out the front of the box, and it is branded with Ninjago Legacy on the bottom. There's how it looks in the back. And last time I got one of these, I opened the tin in a horrible way, and everyone made fun of me in the comments, so let me do it correctly this time. I gotta remove the tape first. But yeah, last time I tried to like lift the lid up, and that's not how it's supposed to come off. It actually slides off really nicely just like that, and all the parts of the minifigures are loose in there. However, we're not going to take a look at those just yet. We'll take a look at them at the end of the video. First, I want to go through the actual magazine. I'm probably going to go a bit quicker through this than I do through the normal magazines, just because there's not as much stuff about the show, because it's the Legacy magazine. It's about Ninjago's history, but we'll still see if there's anything interesting in here. I know there is a comic that takes place sometime in the past of Ninjago's timeline, so I am curious about that. But yeah, here's a look at the other tin removed, Zane versus the Bone King. There's a look at that from the back. And now we can see the full cover. Unfortunately, the tape tore off some of Cole's mask, but we can see the rest of it. It's a special edition 2 extreme LEGO minifigures. Wow, they're extreme. Great toys, Undercover Ninja, Master of Misfortune, Jay as Rogue versus Zarkt. Inside, games, missions, coloring. And coloring is spelt in the British way, because this is a British magazine. Rip-roaring mission, Feed Kai's Dragon, awesome. Some all-action posters, a 12-page comic battling the elements, and copycat criminals. Have the ninja finally met their match? I don't know, let's see. Let's open this up and take a look at what's inside. Yeah, I think the last time I covered one of these was the one that came with Misdemeanor. I was really excited to get that one. But in 2026, I might be covering more of these, because if they're actually doing the new Legacy minifigures, I am actually interested in getting duplicates of those. Especially if they do some of the villains that only come in the bigger sets, like Grimfax, the Time Twins. If those are like the villain minifigure in any of these, absolutely I'm getting them. And there's precedent for that too. Ronin from the Ninjago City Gardens was in one of these, and Misdemeanor from the Ninjago City Workshops was also in there. But here we have an advertisement for the LEGO Play app, and the table of contents here. It says, who is mightier? Decide which of your toys is more powerful in the categories below. Give each character the points you think they deserve by coloring in the boxes. And you can choose equipment, skills, or strength. Nice. Turning to the next page, we're getting right into the games. We don't have the bio page of the minifigures like we do in the regular magazine. Oh, this is a cool game I've never seen before. You have to color in all these circles that have dots inside of them and will form a picture. And just looking at this right here, it looks like it might be Zark's face. That's cool. Then we got a couple of different like maze type games here. And then we have headbands. They're encouraging you to put Jay on top of Zark's helmet. That's really funny. Turning to the next page, we have a ninja construction. They want you to fill in these gaps with your own Lego bricks. And now we're diving into more of the Legacy stuff. So here's a Season 8 game, High Speed Race, and it's literally just a maze between Zane and Mr. E, but it's cool to see some older stuff here. Turning the page again, we have the Noodle Flood. Alright, it sold me on the magazine. Noodle Flood, yes. Master Chen has flooded Ninjago City with noodles. Cole only has one option to save the city. Strap on a bib and munch away. Help him by completing the missions on this page. That's ridiculous. Oh, and okay, they do have a bio page on a character, but it's Nadakhan this time around. Once upon a time, there was a gang of amateur robbers and an evil Jinn prince who gave them new powers and cool vehicles to take revenge on the ninja. Read the latest comic to find out what unexpected challenges our 6 heroes faced. Ooh, interesting, so it's going to be a Skybound comic. Nadakhan is the Jinn Prince of Ninjago and was the captain of the Sky Pirates in Misfortune's Keep. He ruled the seas until his rival, Captain Soto, imprisoned him in the Teapot of Tyron for 400 years. Following his release, he set out to become the Jinn King. That is a very funny lore that Soto is the one that trapped him. Considering like how ridiculous Soto is in the rest of the show. It was cool they brought him back though. He granted each of the ninja 3 wishes, but in the end these only worked in Nadakhan's advantage. This is how he managed to kidnap and marry Nia and steal the ninja's souls. Only evil thoughts, Nadakhan. That's true actually. Only Jay was able to escape and used his last wish to undo everything that had happened. Nadakhan then returned to the teapot, which ended up in the Desert of Doom by mysterious means. Lock up the Jinn. 3 members of Nadakhan's old crew are also hovering around the page. Take a pen and connect them with lines, so that Nadakhan is trapped in a triangle. Wow, we have Flintlock and one of them and Siren here. Turning the page, we are now at the comics. So, as always with the comics, if you've seen my other ones, I'm not going to read the entire thing to you guys, but feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself, and if I notice anything especially funny or interesting, I will stop and point it out. If I remember correctly, the Legacy comics are a lot sillier than the main comics are. The main comics, while they can be silly, try to, like, fit the tone of the show and try to fit into canon. These absolutely do not, but we'll see. We're going to go through them. Hopefully it's fun at the very least. They're using the core vehicles as well. That's interesting. It takes place in the Desert of Doom. The ninja have been chasing a sneaky group of henchmen who are trying to flee with stolen goods, and it's called the Wish Warriors. Okay, but they catch the thieves, and then they're headed back to the city. Cole's in his crystallized vehicle, and it looks like Zane's riding his Torno the Source's motorcycle. That's a little bit funny. But turning the page... Okay, this is actually kind of interesting. They're bringing Nadakhan back here, so obviously, not a canon story, but a neat idea to explore. I mean, fans have been asking for this for years, and if we're not going to get it officially, maybe we can get it in a comic, even though it's not official. But yeah, these criminals free Nadakhan, and they wish to have the ninja's elemental powers, so now the ninja are gonna have to fight themselves. This is fun. It kind of reminds me of like the filler episodes from season 2. They're very silly and ridiculous, but I like it. Let's see where it goes next. The ninja are going out for ice cream because they won. And uh-oh, the criminals are back. They stole back the stolen goods, so now it's stolen again. Zane and Cole get frozen, and now they have to chase the bad guys down again. This is fun, actually. I'm enjoying this. It's much better than the last Legacy comic that I read. But as always, there is a break in the comics, so here we have the Race Against Time, which is a, 2-page thing. It's a Time Twins game, interesting, as well as a poster in the center. Let's take a look at the Race Against Time first, though. Alright, so it's a 2-person game. You play as Jay or plays the Time Twins, and you have to try to collect all the Time Blades first. It's a little dice-rolling board game. I like when they do these. I think it's fun. It's the exact kind of thing I would have really enjoyed as a kid. Then for the posters, we have Ready for Action, which is a Prime Empire poster, and it's got all the Prime Empire vehicles here. This one's a little bit silly, but I like the graphic on it with that, like, sunset design in the background. I think that's fun. And then flipping it over, we have a Skybound poster, which is the actual Skybound poster, like, for the show, but they've added a caption in here that says, "No enemy is too strong." I'd like that a lot more if the caption wasn't there, because, like, this is the literal poster for Skybound. I don't know why we need that added in, but that is really cool art. You got Jay with the eye patch using the nunchucks, the entire Sky Pirate crew. I love Clancy here. Dogshank, unfortunately, was put up top. For some reason, Zane and Lloyd are on Cole's dragon. This is very iconic classic art for Skybound, though. And now we are back to the magazine, and back to the comic, yes. Oh, that's really funny. Nadakhan's riding in the car with the bad guys. In this slide, Nadakhan looks really nervous, and he says he's not ready to face the ninja himself. That's a very funny concept of, like, Nadakhan being nervous. I don't think that happened once in the show. Also, poor Nia's on this tiny little motorcycle, because she had, like, no real vehicles ever in core. I think that's the one from the Ninja Brick Box set. I'm glad they at least had something for her. Turning the page, let's see what happens next. Cole saying his iconic line, "Sorry to burst your bubble," and then they pop the tires and the cars flip over and they knock the guys out, but this guy's running away with Nadakhan actively coming out of the teapot, and he almost wishes to be really good at video games, and Nadakhan's getting annoyed. And Lloyd goes, "Hey, where's the other guy? Are they going to encounter Nadakhan at all? I'm curious." So let's turn to the very last page. Okay, that's a very interesting way to end things. The ninja never see Nadakhan, and Nadakhan's like so embarrassed by how bad these guys did, he's like, "Please just wish to undo it all. I don't want any of this to have happened," which is very silly, but it makes this, I guess, kind of fit in the canon because it means none of this actually happened. It's just like Skybound. So it means time was reversed, and obviously these characters aren't anyone who's going to appear in the show. So I guess it fits into canon surprisingly well because, like, nothing has to change, and then it shows Clutch Powers finding the teapot here. That's very funny. I actually really enjoyed that. That was a pretty good comic. Obviously a bit simpler and a bit sillier than, like, the main Ninjago magazine comics, but I like that it didn't take itself too seriously. It told a fun story that fit in the world of Ninjago, and like I said, it reminded me a lot of, like, the Season 2 Ninjago filler episodes, which are episodes that I love. Yeah, I'm surprised how much I like that. Anyway, that's the end of the comic, but not the end of the magazine, so let's take a quick look at everything else. We got some Island stuff. It says Season 14, The Island. We got some Zippy game, and then we have the Book of Heroes here, which is a thing I think they do in multiple magazines. You can cut out the pages and make a collection, and it just summarizes what happens in the season. Oh wow, they're still using graphics of the original Twitchy Tim minifigure. If you guys don't know what this is, back in 2021, right? 2021, when The Island came out, we were supposed to get this minifigure as Twitchy Tim. This was the official Twitchy Tim minifigure. But due to production errors, the set never came out, and the only reason we know why it exists is because of these magazines. And every now and then these magazines do create like imaginary renders for minifigures that don't exist, but that's not the case with this guy. This is what the minifigure was supposed to look like. But yeah, it got canceled and it never happened. Luckily, we did finally get new Twitchy Tim minifigure in the Ninjago City workshops in 2025, but it is actually different from this version, so this version is still lost somewhere. Like somewhere in LEGO headquarters, this version of Twitchy Tim definitely exists. And it's interesting to see they're still using this in the magazine instead of using the updated one which actually came out. That's actually pretty surprising that they're doing that. Here we have a coloring page, Ninja School, and Lloyd saying his iconic line, "Knock knock, who's there? Justice." And then let's turn the page again. We have Feed Flame. That is not Flame. This is some other guy, man. That is not Flame. We have Save the Data. And then turning the page, we have an advertisement for next month's magazine, which is going to have a Dragonian Warrior versus Tournament of Sources Lloyd. That's a weird combination of figures. I don't know why they're going back to Tournament of Sources when we just got Rogue, who's a 2025 figure, and this would be a 2024 figure. Also, Lloyd has the wrong color mask here. It's dark green. But the Dragonian Warrior is a 2025 figure. So yeah, strange combination. I don't know if I'm going to get that magazine, because honestly, those figures aren't too exciting to me. I mean, I guess it's good to get Lloyd for cheap, because he only came in, what, a $90 set and a $230 set? It's just that wave is somewhat old now, so yeah, I guess if you missed out on that guy, it is cool to get him here. But if you have a lot of the sets like I do, I don't feel like a strong desire to get that magazine. I am happy they're making that minifigure more accessible, though. However, from what I've heard, the magazine after this one should have the new Legacy Kai, which it's awesome to have another way to get him, and the second minifigure is going to be Rox, which is really exciting. It's the final member of the Forbidden Five who hadn't come in a magazine, so now every single member of the Forbidden Five will be available for $10 or less, and that magazine I am absolutely picking up. After that, we'll see what's next, but yeah, I'd like to keep doing these. I think these are fun, and honestly, this was a much better, like, actual magazine than some of the previous ones I've covered. The posters were fine, and the story was genuinely pretty good. And then there's one last thing in the magazine. We have your Evil Villain Week. Ooh, scary, and it's like this planner for Monday through Sunday and every single hour from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you can fill in what's happening each day. And then we have the iconic characters at the top, the Overlord, Crux, Mesmo, one of the Legacy Ghost Warriors, one of the Legacy Ninjroids, one of the Geo Whippers, and then a Legacy Stone Warrior. Live out your villainous side with these baddies. And then on the other side, we have your Great Ninja Week, and it's the same thing, but with a ninja instead. But I think that about covers it for the actual magazine part of the Legacy magazine. However, now we have 4 minifigures to look at, which is a lot. So let's get these really nice tins opened up. There we have the Zane and Bone King one, and Jay versus Zarkt. So we'll start off by taking a look at Zarkt and Rogue, because these are the 2 minifigures that everybody who gets this magazine is going to get. In regards to the other 2, they're bonus minifigures, so if you get this magazine, you may get those 2, you might get a different 2, or if you get this magazine from a country that's not the UK, there may not be bonus minifigures at all. But yeah, everyone who gets this magazine will get these 2 minifigures, and I honestly really like them both. Another big difference from the main Ninjago magazine is the weapons this time around are very boring. The weapons are one of my favorite things in the main Ninjago magazines, but yeah, here they both just get plain katanas. I think that's perfectly fine. Obviously, actual minifigures are more interesting than weapons, but I just don't have a ton to say about them. In terms of the minifigures though, Zarkt is a complete Zarkt minifigure, and man do I love Zarkt's design. He is a bit of a fraud in the show, he did like nothing at all, but he does have a super cool design. I love his exclusive bolted helmet with the stud on top. You can barely see his eyes peeking out, I don't even know if that picks up on camera, but there's some incredible sculpting there. I think he looks phenomenal. He uses dark green as the base color, which I think looks very cool. It's a very dark color, so it keeps that evil feeling, but it's not just like solid black like Rox and Noctev. It keeps him a little bit different from the rest of the Forbidden Five. But then he's got these purple tendrils coming out from like the inside of his cloak. Zark's elemental power is supposed to be misfortune, so it almost seems like that misfortune element's trying to escape from him, but he's got these golden chains around him to lock it inside, and that's just such a cool concept. But yeah, those golden chains also look amazing, and you can see they continue around the back as well as the symbol right here for the Forbidden Five. It's shaped like the number 5, but it's also sort of shaped like a dragon to be Thunderfang, because of course that's where they got their powers from. And if we take the helmet off, you can see Zarkt does have a full face print. print that's double-sided. On one side, he's very angry and he's showing these like golden teeth, and the other side, he's still angry, but his mouth is closed. There's more purple markings on his face here. I thought he was meant to be a panther, but apparently he's just meant to be another wolf, just like Rox had knocked. But yeah, despite how he appeared in the show, definitely one of the coolest Ninjago minifigures we've had in a while. And he comes in 3 different sets, none of which are especially cheap. The cheapest one is Rontu, and like, don't buy that set if you can avoid it. And the other one's 100 and what, 150, 180? How much is that bounty? Too much. I remember that. It was too much. Or is it 200? That bounty actually might be 200, isn't it? It is 200, yeah, so this is obviously a much cheaper way to get this guy in a little $10 magazine, so I'm happy to see him here. And then Rogue is weird because he has the wrong hat piece. He has, like, the Ninjago movie larger straw hat piece in black, which actually is the hat that Noct uses in the Forbidden 5, but that's not the hat that he comes with in sets. I don't know why that change was made. Technically, this is, like, an exclusive variant of Rogue, but you can get all these parts in other sets. So obviously, he looks a little bit weaker because he's not his full proper design, but hey, I mean, it still works well enough. It still feels like Rogue. No armor piece either, which is a bit of a shame, but the minifigure still looks cool without it, and he still has all the aspects of Rogue that I love. The dark red belt, these like golden lightning bolts and clouds on the torso and legs. I love the way one arm's sand blue and one arm's dark blue. He's got the Ninjago letter J on his back, and there's tassels hanging down with the Ninjago letter R and the Ninjago letter J to show his 2 personas, both Rogue and J. I've talked about this minifigure at length in other videos because he did come in a lot of sets, but it's cool to have another way to get him, by far the cheapest way to get him once again, and he also has an exclusive J face that only the Rogue minifigures have. So yeah, a great duo to get in a Legacy magazine, 2 important named characters, both with very cool designs. I'm quite happy with this. And then to quickly go over the bonus minifigures, we have Zane and we have the Bone King. Zane came in a lot of sets back when Core was around, including a $10 set. So if you got any Core sets, he's probably not that exciting. You probably already have this guy. But for kids just getting into Ninjago today, it's good to have another way to get him. And this is a solid enough Zane suit. I like the sleeveless look with the metallic arms and metallic hands. Metallic hands have become more common as of recently, but they weren't the most common a couple of years ago. So it is nice to see them on such a common minifigure. I love the metallic chest printing on Zane, and the blue looks amazing on top of the white. Not the biggest fan of the light yellow on the belt and on the legs. There is precedent for this. The original ZX suit back in 2012 had a little bit of that light yellow, but I don't know, I feel like it works a lot better on that one than it does on this one. This is just like a very solid middle-of-the-road Zane suit for me. Far from my favorite, but not bad either. It's fine. And then the Bone King is honestly a really solid minifigure. He comes with like this castle sword, which is cool to get because it doesn't come in a ton of Ninjago sets, but I'm genuinely surprised to see they didn't downgrade this guy at all for the magazine. No, this is the full version that also came in the sets. He's got the full tattered cape piece, which looks amazing. That's the same cape piece that like Moro had back in 2015. He's got the full helmet, that like spring green face with the metallic skull printing on top of it. These guys do have really cool designs. And then I love that red armor printed on top of the black torso. And it's so cool how the knee pads are the top of the skull and the shoes are the bottom of the skull, so it creates like a mouth that closes. There's a quick look at the back torso print too. Honestly, it's great to get this guy here because the Core 2 sets have been discontinued for a little while now, and this guy is actually canon to Dragon's Rising. He appeared in the show, and of the Bone Warriors, this is easily the best one. So yeah, genuinely really awesome bonus. Like obviously Rogue and Zarkt are the draw here, but these are not bad minifigures at all. I'm quite happy to get duplicates. But now, what are my overall thoughts on this magazine? Honestly, this was really good. I was impressed by everything. The highlight is for sure the minifigures, like with most of the magazines. If you're in the demographic where you like the games and everything, that's awesome, and I think there's some solid stuff in there. But the main reason you're going to get this is for the minifigures, and we just have some phenomenal selections here. In terms of value too, this is just like the best way to get Ninjago minifigures. You get 4 here for what's essentially $10 US, and all of them are somewhat uncommon, like pretty rare. The Legacy magazine is just a great place for a Ninjago fan to start out, and that's any issue, not even just this one. The comic, I'm shocked how much I enjoyed. It made me laugh, and I think it was a really good story that fits in the Ninjago universe. Maybe more in like Season 11, Season 12, it's definitely a little bit sillier than some Ninjago, but silly could be good. I think this was the perfect amount of silly. It's always fun to look back at Ninjago's history too, and it's cool to get posters from different eras of the show. So yeah, honestly, I was really happy to pick this one up. I had a ton of fun with this magazine, and I know I'm uploading this video pretty late, so it's probably not on shelves anymore. But if you do happen to find this one, I recommend picking it up. It is actually pretty solid. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this magazine in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and let me know, should I review more Ninjago Legacy magazines? But as for this one, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!